Hey y'all, this morning on the farm we got a lot going on. I got to start by taking this fuel injector off of this 4020. We're getting ready to harvest corn. I've been mowing around the cornfields, getting everything ready. And this tractor is going to run an auger, but we have a problem with it. It will crank up just fine one time every day. Once you cut it off, it will not crank up again that day. No matter how much ether you put in it, no matter what you do, it will not fire but once a day. But it'll hit that first fire and crank right up every time. So we've eliminated everything except for the fuel injector. If it's take it off and get it worked on. I'm going to start by taking this hood off because the injector pump's going to come up and it may hit right here before it clears the housing down there. So take the hood off, and then we'll start pulling all these lines off. I'm gonna get these screens out of the way so they don't get damaged. There we go. I need to clean that before putting that back on. This red, or used to be red, grommet around the fuel neck filler will actually, is mounted to the hood. It will actually stay on the hood and slide up over the fuel neck filler. There we go. Get the other side. As soon as I'm able to get the hood high enough to get my hand up under it, I'm going to put the fuel cap back on the filler so nothing gets in our fuel system. I'm going to do the same now for the water. The hood's out of the way. If you've ever worked on the fuel system of a 4020 or 3020, you're familiar with these little rubber fuel boots. These boots, they will drive you crazy. If this line flexes and moves a little bit, it'll cause a crack in one of the boots, and then you'll have a fuel leak. And you can put on one boot, but as you put that one boot on, you're going to move the line around a little bit, and it's going to crack one on the other end. And so if you ever have to touch any of those 6 boots, you put all 6 on. You never put one on, you put all 6 on, because it never fails. It never fails that putting one on will crack another one. Now these boots here I put on less than a year ago, so I'm hoping we don't have to put the boots on. But as you see, it's pretty aggravating to get them on. This would be one of the easier ones. She's got these little snap rings that you got to compress, and then the boot slides down over the bottom, and then once you get all your 6 of them down on the bottoms, you can slide them up onto this fuel rail. So it's clamped on both ends. But some of these rings are in places where you can't really get to them very easily, and it makes it very difficult to do. My grandfather purchased this 4020 in 1968, and it has been in continuous operation on this farm ever since. Original motor. They don't make them like this anymore. Now that everything is out of the way, I'm going to start by loosening all the fuel lines so that we can twist and move them. I'm going to break them loose up here, and then I will break them loose from here. And that way we got maximum flexibility, and we can try to maneuver the pump out of here. If you're wondering why the head of a wrench is often at an angle, see this end is straight, but this other end is at an angle. I can't put this wrench on that bolt back there because this is in the way. However, because this angled end, I can slide it over the head and my wrench is out of the way. And so I'm able to get to this nut because the wrench is angled. The 4020 has a reputation as being one of the, or not one, but has a reputation of being as the greatest tractor ever built. It's super reliable, and as you can tell, I have a little issue here, and I'm able to solve it with wrenches. No computer. I can work on it. You know, not just me. Anyone that owns a 4020 can work on it. They're easy to work on. The issues are mechanical, and the issues are few and far between. These tractors are highly reliable, but to many people's dismay, I'm not going to call this the greatest tractor ever made or the most reliable tractor ever made. I think from nearly the same generation, the 4430 is infinitely better than the 4020. I love the 4430, much more reliable, way stronger, still very basic, very plain. You can still work on it. There's no computer, but the 4430, way more tractor than the 4020. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I think the 4960 and the 8530 are two of the best tractors John Deere ever made. And I would put the 4430 right there with them. The 3 best tractors John Deere ever made are the 4430, the 4960, and the 8530. Those are 3 highly reliable tractors, very capable of doing work. They're all 3 though different sizes, so they're capable of doing different work. The 4020 was a great tractor, very good, huge stepping stone for the industry, but not quite as good as that 4430, 4960, and 8530. I am not a master mechanic, but if you've been watching this channel on, you've seen us do 2 8R engine swaps, and we pulled an axle, rear axle on a Versatile 310. We've done a lot of mechanic work on here, but again, I'm not a master mechanic. I can take something apart, and if I'm the one that took it apart, I can usually put it back together, but I'm not good at diagnosing stuff or figuring something out. I'm just good at taking it apart and putting it together. If I'm the one that did it, no one else moves stuff around, I can reassemble. What scares me about this though is all these lines. That's not a big deal. I can slide this pump out. When it gets time to put it back on, I can pop this little window off and I can time it, get it lined up, get everything timed, get reinstalled. But right now, the only thing left to do is the throttle linkage, and that has to be precise. you can put it on and have the tractor have more fuel or less fuel. You're adjusting the throttle linkage. That's a little bit intimidating me. I want that to be exactly the way it is right now. So I have to remove this linkage on the back here. And I have to be able to thread it back to the same position that it's on currently. And that is a little bit intimidating. All right. Oh, there we go. Well, that was easy enough. So the throttle linkage has a ball right here. It goes in here, and it looks like we may need a new clamp. That might have damaged the clamp when that ball popped out. I'm not sure, but I will get a new clamp anyway. Now the important thing, we gotta stop that hole up and make sure nothing gets in there while we take this to get worked on. It's about an hour trip down the road to where we gotta take that injector pump to get worked on. But before we do that, we gotta go cut on the irrigation. So we got the injector pump dropped off for the 4020, get it worked on so that the 4020 will be ready to auger corn in and out of the bins. Yesterday I come and mowed around the cornfield, getting it ready for harvest, getting everything cleaned out. We don't want a bunch of tall grass or weeds right next to the corn we're trying to harvest. We may be dumping on trailers here or anywhere around the field. So I mowed the perimeter of the cornfield yesterday, and now we gotta go check on the combine. If you've been watching this channel long, you saw me get my grain sorghum harvested this past winter by my neighbor with a big red combine, and perhaps you saw me working on the big STS combine that my dad and my brother-in-law bought, and now my brother-in-law owns. But this, my cousin picked up this 9600 John Deere a couple years ago. He doesn't farm, he just saw a good deal and he thought it was a great investment, so he purchased this 9600 for a good price. It's been sitting here, so we got to get it ready, change the oil, get all the new filters on it, go through it a little bit and get everything dialed in and get it ready to harvest some corn. This morning we took that injector pump off and I got all the irrigation started, and then we went about 50 miles east here to Albany to get the injector pump dropped off to get worked on. Came back and had to go to Fort Gaines, that's about 9 miles north of here, to look at that combine, get the part numbers we needed off it, to order all the stuff we needed to get it serviced up, ready to go. And I had to go to Cuthbert, that was about 25 miles north of here, to get those parts. And while I was there, I had to make a couple stops. I had to go by the FSA office, Farm Service Agency, file some paperwork, and go see my electricity suppliers. I like to hand deliver all my bills. I don't trust the mail. And then I had to come back that 25 miles to the farm and then go 12 miles south of the farm to Blakely. I'm having a grain bin erected to put this corn in, and the grain bin's not stood up yet, so we had to go to the people we're buying the grain bin from and talk to them about why my bin's not stood up yet. Drop off a few bills there in Blakely, and now I'm back on the farm and I'm getting ready to spray the middles of my pecan orchard. I had to do a herbicide strip where the nuts will fall so that the ground will be nice and clean and we can harvest those nuts when they're ready. Yesterday when I was mowing around the cornfield, I mowed the pecan orchard middles. The row middles. Now we gotta come in and spray herbicide strips on the actual rows where the nuts are gonna fall. Well, we got the herbicide strips sprayed in the pecan orchard, so now Mercer and I are fixed to get the big spray boom sprayer ready to roll, so we can get back in those peas and spray those cowpeca coolios, so our PC to be nice and clean and pretty, be what we want. We don't want a bunch of stung up seeds, so we gotta get out there and take care of that. People often ask me this time of year, man, what are y'all doing on the farm? Y'all ain't got nothing going on, you ain't planting, you ain't harvesting. This is what I'm doing this time of year. Man, it's 100 different things every day, all day. No 2 days are ever the same. Not even close. Not even close. But I thank all of y'all for watching. I hope to see you next time.